This is Dr. Ed Turos with The Focus Voice, and you can check out all my videos on YouTube at The Focus Voice. But today I want to talk to you about something that's very important for this generation. And one of the things that my passion is to help this generation to awaken and really understand the desires they have to fulfill their dreams, to fulfill their vision, their passion, and bring hope to the hopeless. We have a generation right now that sometimes drifts off with all the amount of time they spend on social media. In fact, a recent statistic just says that they spend about 5 hours a day on social media, and that's obviously on your phone and other devices. And we need to help young people get focused, and that's what my call and my assignment is in my life. Just recently, I was talking to some young individuals, and they were talking about they don't know what want to do for their life. And I said, "Do you have a calling? Do you have an assignment?" Well, we don't know what that is. And so I want to encourage you today. We are here to help you at the Focus Life Institute and the Focus Voice to have a voice into this generation. My passion is to help them be educated, to equip them, and to empower them, obviously, to focus right on this identifying this calling and this an assignment in life, and then be able to fulfill their purpose and destiny. There's something about when you start doing it, you know what you're called to do in life that really just affects your spirit, right? It just begins to light up and say, man, I'm doing what I'm called to do. And that might be in a career, that might be obviously in relationships, that could be in a place of an organization, things you're working with in a church. And you find that fulfillment in what you're doing. And I like fulfillment because it's part of servanthood, right? I want to serve people, and that's how I got up to the top of my sphere in basically the Coca-Cola companies. I served my way up. I was recently talking to a university vice president, and I was asking him about the alumni who just graduated. He came back, obviously, for homecoming the next 2 or 3 years after that. And I said, what is their response to you based on what they're experiencing on in the workplace? And they said this. He said to me, he said, the problem is that they feel like they're up here. They get this degree. They have this mindset that I should be paid this amount of money. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be paid that amount of money based on your technical aspects of who you are in the school you went to. But when it comes to spiritual things, and it comes to things where they're trying to be able to change culture with their viewpoint, they're being shot down very quickly. And in order for you to be able to get into culture and change culture, and that's my passion, I want to see culture change through people who will walk in certain virtues. And I've dealt with those in the Heroes Principles, and you can check out my books on Amazon on the Heroes Principle. In fact, I'm giving away right now Be a Hero. So if you are a parent, you're a guardian of a young person between 13 and 24, they need to have this book. It's available on all my social media. It's called Be a Hero. I'm giving this book to you as an ebook free because I believe that we need to have young people understand how to serve their way up once they get into maybe a school, into a college, into technical school, but also as they move into the workplace, what do they need to do to be able to see how they can obviously move up to the organization, to have a voice in that organization like I did at the Coca-Cola Company. I was praying before I went in to meetings with my boss. They would allow me to pray. They allowed me to, when people called me, there was a situation, they'd call me to pray for these people. See, I had influence in that arena based on my faith that I was releasing to them, but I was cautious to understand how to be able to do that in these work environments, especially in this situation in the workforce right now, which we're seeing. But what happened was that I talk about this Heroes book, and it talks about these virtues of honor. We live in an age of dishonor, right? It talks about a situation of excellence. The E stands for excellence of heroes. That's the acronym. E stands for excellence in an age of what? Average. Just tell me what to do, I'll do it. R stands for responsibility in an age of entitlement. O stands for being in order, being submitted to those in position for you in authority. Let me tell you this. If you don't submit to those people in authority, when you get promoted, guess what type of people you're going to get? Because there's a law of sowing and reaping. And so as you submit to that authority, you're going to get people who submit to you as you get moved up in the organization and leadership like I did in the Coca-Cola Company and also Unilever that I worked for 37 years in Fortune 100. And then we look at the area of expectation in the hero's principle versus somebody right now who's pessimistic, looking around, watching the news, and getting all doubt and unbelief in their mind. And then the S stands for servanthood, and a type right now of a season of most people are individualism, which is a big thing. Look at me, it's all about me. I'm not here to serve anybody. And I served my way up through that organization to be able to see great levels of success. But what was the other thing we dealt with was that when you're talking about your calling and your assignment, you got to know which sphere of influence you're called to be in. Now, there's been some great teachings on the 7 spheres of influence, 7 vocational spheres, maybe I would call them 7 mountains. And there's been a lot of teaching on that. I've been involved with that, and I've created a profile for you to help you understand which one you should get into. You should get into business, government, education, maybe family, maybe religion, arts and entertainment, maybe media. Which ones do you fit in based on your own personality, which you really want to go after? I was teaching this out in California. I had about 90 young people in this church I was at, and we were talking about where do you fit. Well, out in California, a lot of them were involved in arts and entertainment. What we did, we gathered the pastoral team around, we commissioned them and prayed for them to go into that sphere of influence to change it. All of a sudden, we're starting to see The Chosen. We're starting to see all kinds of different movies come out that are faith-based, that are really doing very well in the box office because we have people now that we've been praying for. And I'm not saying some of those people went in there, but we were praying that that arts and entertainment mountain would be changed. Boy, we need people in media right now. So what are you called to do? Now, what I did was I created this new course called Focus on Activation. And it's an online course right now, and it's something that I think you need to consider. It's only $49. Listen, I'm putting this out there real cheap, and I have a 2.5-hour training to go with it. It's called Focus on Activation. It's trying to help you get activated in your assignment and your calling. Now, there are 4 things you need to understand. Number 1, you have to understand who you are. And basically, as a faith-based person, I'm a king and a priest based on Revelation 1:6. I'm a prophet. I'm a son of God based on the scriptures. And also, I'm an ambassador of Jesus Christ. That's what I am based on my faith base of who I am. I know who I am. I know my identity. Okay, you got to know who you are, right? Number 2, you got to look at what you have. You got to look at your gift cluster. You got to look at what is your personality style? What is your gift cluster? What is your skill set? What sphere of influence are you called to go into? You got to know these things so that you can find out your assignment and calling and get into that where there's a hand-to-glove fit. There's more creativity and stress because about 60% of the people hate their job, even in a career choice, and we deal with that on Finding Life's Direction in our materials. But also, then we have to understand how to apply that in the areas you go into, then how to increase it. Well, we're going to help you increase it based on this course called Focus Activation for $49. And so what we're talking about is helping you understand the following aspect of this Focus on Activation. We're talking about the DISC personality system. Now, I taught that, and I've been certified in that for over 30 years. I taught that at the Coca-Cola Company as a manager and a trainer. I went around the country training people and in Atlanta at headquarters, teaching people to understand self and understand the motivations of others. Boy, that's big. If you can get this and understand yourself and understand your certain behavioral style, you'll know that people are different, but they're predictably different. If you understand when you walk in a room and you can identify different personality styles, boy, you're in a win-win place. Because you're going to know how to do the ABC method, adapt, blend, and connect, get in sync with people, right? And be able to see a win-win with that. I teach this all over the country, and we're teaching all over the world now in South Africa and other places. The second thing part of this focus activation is looking at your 7-sphere profile. We give you a series of questions in all the 7 mountains. We identify which ones are yours. We look at the top 3 and say, okay, I need to focus on that and prepare for a career choice. Now, our career choice is in our Finding Life's Direction. It matches up your personality style with jobs in the 16 career clusters. But then we go in also in this focus activation, we look at the spiritual gifting. We look at a spiritual gifting profile. We look at the 20 spiritual gifts. We identify your spiritual gifts that you can use, both personally, professionally. I use those in, obviously, in my personal life. I use those professionally when I was working with the Coca-Cola Company. I used that as a leader in church for 40 years, as an elder in a church, and also as a leader in church, as a motivational speaker. I'm using those gifts that I know I have to be able to further the kingdom of God. And that's why I'm on the earth today, to be able to advance God's kingdom, be able to see culture change to a positive aspect. And then finally, I'm looking at the hero's principle, and I'm looking at what I mentioned before of honor, excellence, responsibility, order, expectation, servanthood. I'm identifying the weak areas of your life that you might need to look at. I was teaching this at a college, and I was surprised to see a Christian college that I graduated in. I was a teacher there, adjunct professor, and I'll tell you what, I was shocked to see some of the individuals who were weak, and maybe in honor, weak in excellence in certain things. So we were working on that to help them get focused on that and be able to see greater levels of success. And then I also, in this focus on activation, threw in 3 of the top 10 soft skills. I teach the soft skills in our own materials, skills for success, as well as our other complete program we have. We have a complete student preparation course. It's a bundle with all our courses. It's 50% off. It's a great opportunity for you to invest in yourself or invest in your child. But we're talking about right now about 3 skills. Communication, the number 1 skill. How do I adapt, blend, and connect, communicate with people? Conflict resolution. How do I deal with conflict? And collaboration. How do I deal with other people with different personality styles? Now, as a manager and trainer, I know that most of the issues people had in life was this bucking of personality styles. That's why I teach the ABC method, adapt, blend, and connect your style with somebody else to see greater levels of success. I've taught this across the country, even with Coca-Cola, and saw great levels of success with our customers, with individuals, with relationships, with people working in offices together. So I'm trying to give you something that's a hands-on on this focus activation. So I want to encourage you in the focus voice here for you to understand that I'm trying to bring the dream to the dreamless, the hope to the hopeless, the passion to the passionless, to stir you, awaken you, and stir you to where we're seeing young people right now find their life's direction, find out what God's calling them to do, be successful in life, have a life right now that fulfills their personal dreams and vision. So again, I challenge you to go out right now, go out to my social media site, get your free ebook on Be a Hero. There's a 40-day workbook in here that helps you identify what you need to do. This is for youth between ages of 13 to 26. That's my focus right now, to help them get focused in their life and see greater levels of success. Check out all our materials at FocusLifeInstitute.com. We are here to invest in you so that you can fulfill that assignment, that call in your life. Remember this, your focus, it does determine your future.